Will the U.S. send weapons to Ukraine? A recent report from the New York Times said top officials in Washington are open to discussions about providing lethal assistance. A bipartisan group of 15 senators just sent a letter to Obama urging the president to send defensive weapons to Ukraine. But will the U.S. do it? On today's press review for Ukraine Today, we take a look at what the international press is writing about the U.S. sending lethal aid to Ukraine. First, we start with Reuters. They write, "Sending arms to Ukraine would be a big gamble for the U.S. Although an injection of military arms would help the Ukrainian army significantly, according to Timothy Heritage and Richard Balmforth, writing for Reuters, some believe that Washington will fan the flames of war if it sends lethal aid." They write, "Sending arms to Kyiv might not even have much effect on the conflict," critics say, and could encourage a full-scale Russian onslaught on Ukraine's army that might increase the possibility of direct Western intervention. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Kyiv on Thursday, where he is likely to talk about sending lethal aid to Ukraine. As Russia continues to support militants with weapons, calls have increased for the West to arm Ukraine. A line of thinking may be developing in the West that Putin may only respect force and will only blink if his bluff is called. By that token, he may change tack if Ukraine is provided with defensive means to turn the conflict into a prolonged struggle, which Russia may regret. Now we turn to a piece put out by the Christian Science Monitor. They notice that more and more analysts believe arming Ukraine is the only way to pressure Russia. Multiple peace talks have failed to produce any results, and efforts at diplomacy have nearly been exhausted. Russia, in turn, has become increasingly aggressive, and more people in Washington see the current path of sanctions as ineffective. Anna Mulrine for the Monitor writes, "The only way to impose costs on Russian President Vladimir Putin and force him to the negotiating table is through an influx of arms," some say, but others worry that such a move could backfire and instead only intensify the conflict and a new Cold War. So as more and more politicians in Washington consider the path of lethal aid to Ukraine, they have to weigh the consequences of upsetting Russia that may cause. So will the U.S. send defensive weapons to Ukraine? We'll probably find out more information when John Kerry visits Ukrainian leaders on Thursday. Now that's all from us here in Kyiv. Join us again tomorrow from the Ukraine Today newsroom for another press review.